9:30. We are starting the program. Everybody again, please find a seat. We're going to start the program again. Everyone please find a seat. We're going to start the program with the singing of the national anthem, followed by the singing of Hatikvah. To lead us, allow me to introduce the Executive Director of the Free Synagogue of Flushing and QJCC Board Member, Cantor Alan Brava, accompanied by Brian Druckman.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in the air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Cold valley of Penimon, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ulefatei mizrach kadima, ayin leTzion homiya.
Excellent, thank you. I don't want to lose that momentum. Good morning. I'm Mayor Waxman. I am the Executive Director of the Queens Jewish Community Council, QJCC. Welcome and thank you all for braving the weather and joining us for this annual legislative breakfast marking the start of QJCC's 57th year of service. I first want to recognize and thank the sponsors who made this event possible. UJA Federation of New York, Dan Rosenthal is here. ADL New York, New Jersey, represented by Tova Rosenfeld and Rabbi Yisrael Kahn. AJC New York, Marissa Birak is here. All About Kindness, Ludmila Mirova and David Aronov over here. Common Point, CEO Daniel Elman and a table full of Common Point professionals are here. Congregation Eitz Chaim of Palace Hills, Bayside. President Steve Stieglitz is here. Free Synagogue of Flushing, represented by Alan Brava, and a full table of members and representatives. Thank you very much again. Margaret Tietz Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, Linda Spiegel and table. Northeast Queens Jewish Community Council, Marissa is here. Refuah Shlema to Corey Birak, who could not be here today. Parker Jewish Institute, Michael Rosenbluth and the table of Parker professionals are here. The Reformed Temple of Forest Hills, Rabbi Kaiserman is here and Phyllis Rosenberg is here. Thank you very much. Shimmy Pellman sends his regrets, but thanks to Shimmy, we do have a table full of electeds and you're all very much appreciated. Stand With Us is well represented here with Avi Posnick, and Yesodot is represented by Diana Rachnev. I also want to recognize Meal Mart for catering today's event and for providing the meals QJCC delivers to homebound seniors. I also want to recognize QJC staffers, Carol Crone, Marina Littman, and Ron Rafaelov, who's you just met, and I'm going to talk about him shortly, who are here. Thank the staff for their important work. Okay, here we go. Let's get right into it. All right, everybody. Before I ask our host, my rabbi, Rabbi Dov Lerner, to give the invocation, I want to highlight two new QJCC initiatives which will help highlight what QJCC is, why we're all here, and why an outstanding group of Queens Jewish community leaders is about to affirm their commitment to fulfill roles on the QJCC Board of Directors. If I can have a little bit more quiet. A little bit more quiet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I first want to recognize the presence of Holocaust survivor and U.S. veteran, Sammy Steigman, who educates on history wherever he can, but was recently not allowed to teach at a New York City public school. In this light, I want to recognize Avram Malachowski from the Auschwitz Jewish Center Foundation and to announce that QJCC and the AJCF, thanks to a grant from Assemblyman David Webrin through the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services, will soon be starting the first Faith Leaders Fellowship on Anti-Semitism and Hate, an initiative training a cohort of interfaith leaders to promote within their districts an increased level of intercommunal understanding and tolerance, to combat hate and intolerance, and promote cross-identity group understanding and partnership. People, that's all I'm going to say about the scourge of anti-Semitism, because while QJCC does advocacy on behalf of the Jewish community, I want to make it clear that QJCC is not at all about anti-Semitism. While as of late we are seeing that the world has too many evil people, clueless people, and or idiots, hell-bent on impeding Jews from continuing to do great things on behalf of the Jewish community, the greater community in the world, those people do not define us. QJCC will continue to provide food to thousands of people in need through our kosher food pantries, and to deliver 4 kosher meals a week to individuals in Queens with mobility impairment, the vast majority of whom are seniors. QJCC will continue to provide popular cultural programs. The 10 events in fiscal year 25 recorded almost 10,000 attendees. For those events, I want to particularly thank Council members Lynn Schulman, who sends regrets that she's under the weather, but also thanks to Council members Linda Lee, who is here, and Jim Gennaro, who I think is here. Yeah, I see Jim. Our local councilman. QJCC also partners with Queens synagogues and organizations on other related programs and to support Israel. QJCC also provides case assistance, including support with housing issues, including spree, senior MetroCard assistance, immigrant issues, and translation. QJCC has a snap enroller through Met Council. Now, 2 days a week, QJCC caseworker Marina Littman is subcontracted under the Charles B. Wang Community Health Center to serve as a New York State of Health insurance navigator, helping hundreds of individuals or families a year access affordable health insurance through the state's marketplace system. This service is available to people until the age of 65. Again, if I could have 2 more paragraphs, people. The second program I want to announce is that, also through New York State of Health, under the Charles B. Wang Community Health Center, QJCC now has a facilitated enroller to identify, engage, and educate people in the Medicaid and Medicare eligible aged, blind, and disabled population. That's Ron Rafaelo, who you met when he signed you in. He'll help people regarding available coverage options. This work will be able to enroll qualified aged, blind, and disabled clients into the relevant Medicaid health insurance program. I'm going to finish by quiet everyone, please. I'm going to finish by noting that I don't think it's a coincidence that yesterday's Torah reading, Parshas Yitro, tells the story of the Jewish people gathering before Mount Sinai to receive the Torah, and Scripture notes V'yichad Sham Yisrael, and there Israel encamped. The renowned commentator Rashi notes this is the singular language when the plural seems more appropriate. So it explains the single language denotes they were as one person with one mind. Similarly, yesterday on the daily Talmud page, the Gemara said a person does not fulfill his obligation of taking the 4 species with the lulav until they're all bound together in a single bundle. And so too, when the Jewish people pray for acceptance, this is not accomplished until they're all bound together in a single bundle. This is what QJCC is all about, with all of you working together for an ideal outcome. Thank you. To that end, I note the envelopes on the tables addressed to QJCC, which also have convenient QR codes leading to QJCC's donate page. With that, I ask, again, Rabbi Dr. Dov Lerner, Rabbi of this shul, to give the invocation to our Torah.
They don't listen to me, but you don't listen to me.
How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. The word hate carries a huge amount of baggage. It comes with connotations of prejudice, discrimination, bigotry, fanaticism, animus, and visceral revulsion. Many depict hate as a vain and fruitless, even self-defeating emotion, and seen this way, obviously hatred cannot be sacred and has no place in heaven. And yet a legendary king and a whole slew of prophets seem to disagree. In Proverbs, King Solomon says that there are 6 things that God hates. Amos and Isaiah repeatedly say that God hates. And just yesterday, in synagogues all over the globe, Jewish communities read of Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, advising him to set up a judiciary packed with judges who are mandated to hate. And one of the great commentators of the Middle Ages tries to decipher what this hatred means, and he says that we need judges who hate oshek, who hate exploitation, and when they see it, refuse to let it stand. We need judges, says the medieval Nachmanides, who see kol cheftzam lahatzil, their entire purpose on earth is to save others from pain and to hate injustice. So read this way, a judiciary needs to be populated by people who share the traits of the DC Universe's Justice League. We don't just need legal expertise, but people who feel deep in their bones a hatred for discrimination, a hatred for intimidation, and a hatred for exploitation. We need people who see pain and oppression and instinctively and unconsciously, impulsively and automatically see it as their personal mission to put it to an end. So it seems that in some ways hatred can be sacred when it motivates us to save those in need, as King David wrote nearly 3 millennia ago, and Jewish communities still sing every single Friday night. Ohavei Hashem Sinura, those who love God hate evil. So as we start today and you enjoy your breakfast, let us all pray that heaven gives us the strength to rid ourselves of baseless resentment, but also gives us the strength to make space for and cultivate a sacred hatred in a way that leads us to eradicate pain, give help and hope to those in need, and like the QJCC, fill the world with love and with light. Let us say, Amen.
And with that, I give over the program to QJCC President, former Assembly Member, former City Council Member, and swell guy, Barry Grodenchik.
You can do better than that. Come on. Thank you, Rabbi. And let's give it up for my dear friend who works for us as well. Mayor, everybody knows Mayor Waxman, Rabbi Waxman. Does an incredible job. All right, normally I like to be funny and all, but I think today calls for a little different, just a little different start. Shh. Good morning, and thank you for being here today. And if I do not start off with the usual pleasantries, I hope that you will understand that we are definitely not living in normal times. The Jewish community is in a place in this city that those of us in this room have never known. We need armed guards in our synagogues and our schools. Regrettably, it is necessary to have police patrols as well. Incidences of anti-Semitism have soared in our borough, in our city, despite the efforts of our NYPD and our outstanding district attorney, Melinda Katz, who you'll hear from in a little bit. If you are counting, anti-Semitic hate crimes in January were nearly triple what they were in January of 2025. This is not the New York City I grew up in. It is not the city of New York that my parents of blessed memory raised me in, and we are certainly not going to accept this as a status quo. Recently, we had a band of maniacs, I don't know what else to call them, hold a pro-Hamas Yamak Shemo rally outside of the Young Israel of Kew Garden Hills and the Yeshiva of Central Queens, two of our outstanding organizations which have been here for decades. Their mission was a mission of hate. Their quote-unquote protest was roundly condemned by our Governor Kathy Hochul, Attorney General Letitia James, both of our controllers who are with us this morning, and every single elected official who is here with us this morning, and many others. And we thank them for standing with us against this hatred. Again, we thank the NYPD. You can clap. And especially the Office of the 107 Precinct, the precinct I grew up in, for keeping everyone safe. Please thank them when you leave the breakfast today. Our message to our elected officials, who are outstanding friends to the Jewish community and to the media that is here today and not here, is that we are not going anywhere. We will not yield 1 inch to hate, and we are certainly not going to abandon communities that we have all worked to build up, in some cases for decades. The Jewish community in New York City has given the world the internet. Yes, it was a kid from my synagogue who did that, half did it, wasn't Al Gore. We've given them Barbara Streisand and Neil Diamond and Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax, Mel Brooks, and two nice Jewish boys from New York, from Kew Garden Hills, Simon and Garfunkel. The list is nearly endless, and we will continue every single day to make our great city even better. If you take one message away from here this morning, please remember that what starts with the Jewish community rarely ends there. Incidences of anti-Asian hate crimes and anti-Muslim hate crimes also rose dramatically in January to January. Each of us must raise our voices individually and together to stand together against hate here in our communities and communities across our borough, city, state, and nation. And silence is never the answer. Queens is one of the greatest social experiments in human history. A few years ago, our district attorney, then our Queensborough president, called Queens the world's borough. And if you look at the signs when you come into Queens, it says world's borough on those signs. Let us remember that as we work to put hate where it belongs, in the dustbin of history. And I promise you things are going to get better. In 1935, when my father was 16 years old, a nice Jewish boy from the Bronx, he went looking for work. And in the windows of the stores that advertised for help, it said, "Help wanted, no Jews or Irish need apply." We have come a long way in 91 years, but we've got further to travel, and I hope you will travel that distance with this community council and with people of goodwill all across our city and state. And thank you all for being here. Now we get a little bit more into the fun part. So, thank you, Mayor, for giving me this run of show. I don't know if anybody in this room's ever heard of Julie Menin, but you're going to hear about her. She's got an incredible resume. She is the daughter and granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. And she's going to tell you more about herself, but in the first month or so in office as Speaker of the City Council, she has made quite an impression upon me, and I know the people in this room, especially that she came running right out of the gate, standing against anti-Semitism. I served in the council. I know how hard it is. I was never the speaker, but I know how hard it is to juggle 50 other members and all their needs and their community's needs. And right now, it is my great pleasure to introduce the first Jewish Speaker of the New York City Council. Please give it up for Julie Menin.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Barry, for that incredibly kind introduction. Thank you, QJCC. This is not my first time here. I've come every year since I've been in the City Council. Before I begin my remarks, I first of all want to thank my incredible colleagues. There's so many elected officials here, so I'm not going to recognize everyone. I'm going to take speaker privilege to recognize my amazing colleagues who are here. Councilmember Ty Hankerson, Councilmember Linda Lee, Councilmember Sandra Ong, Councilmember Chanel Thomas Henry, Councilmember, where's Jim Gennaro? We're in his district. Jim, thank you so much. I know we're going to be joined by Councilmembers Phil Wong, Councilmembers Vicky Palladino, Councilmember and Chair of the Jewish Caucus Eric Dinowitz. I know Lynn Shulman is sick, so she unfortunately could not be here today. I want to also thank other leaders there's so many leaders in the Jewish community, so again, I'm not going to thank everyone, but a special shout out to Dan Rosenthal at UJA and Mark Treyger at JCRC. Thank you for your incredible partnership. We really, really appreciate it. This is a very difficult time for the Jewish community, and I know I don't need to tell all of you that. It is an everyday battle. It is an everyday challenge. Unfortunately, it's not a new challenge. When I started in the City Council in 2022, the first town hall I did, which was in January of 2022, was on anti-Semitism. In my district, which is the east side of Manhattan, there had been numerous anti-Semitic incidents at that time. 350 people showed up, it was still during COVID, on Zoom to talk about anti-Semitism at that first town hall we had. And at that town hall, one of the things that struck me is that people said that if they were the victim of an anti-Semitic incident, they weren't sure how to report it. Do you call 311? Do you call 911? Many expressed fear that they didn't want to report it at all. Now, here we are today with anti-Semitic incidents accounting for 57% of all hate crimes. 57%, yet we know that we in the Jewish community are about 10% of New York City's population. This is a crisis of epic proportions, and we in the City Council are addressing it head on. We announced 2 weeks ago our 5-point plan to combat anti-Semitism. We are legislating buffer zones around all houses of worship, all. Because what happened at Park East Synagogue is wholly and totally unacceptable. We are not going to permit that to happen again, and that is why we're standing up with a loud voice to do this. We are also doing buffer zones around all schools because students have the right to enter and exit their school without threats of intimidation and harassment. And I want to be clear, we are not penalizing the right, First Amendment right to peacefully protest. I have been a lawyer for a very long time, and I served formally in a senior role at the City Law Department. The First Amendment right to peacefully protest is sacrosanct, but what is not sacrosanct is intimidation and harassment, and that's what we're legislating against. So this legislative package is moving forward. We're also providing funding for security cameras for smaller houses of worship that might not be able to afford to do so, so that's something very important as well. We're providing funding for security plans for all houses of worship. And lastly, we're investing in Holocaust education. Now, I am, as Barry mentioned, the daughter and granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. My mother and grandmother survived the Holocaust in Budapest. My grandfather was killed simply because he was born Jewish, as were so many of your relatives. And so what we're doing now is 34% of young people believe the Holocaust is a myth or exaggerated. I'm going to repeat that, 34%. What kind of society have we become where 34% of young people deny the existence or believe it's exaggerated of the Holocaust? It's unconscionable. So what we're doing about it is about 2 years ago, I launched a project where we're bringing 8th grade public students to the Museum of Jewish Heritage so that we're bringing young people through this Holocaust exhibition. We've now announced an additional $1.25 million to expand that program. This is mission critical. We're going to bring more students to this, and we've created a virtual component so that we can reach more students. But I want to be clear. We want to partner with every single one of you in this room. We want to increase funding to combat anti-Semitism. So please come to us with your ideas as well. Now, let me just say that I really want to thank the work of everyone in this room, but particularly I want to honor and thank the incredible work of QJCC, because you all are on the front lines. You all are showing the model of what it means to do public service, to help those communities in need, and to also celebrate Jewish life in the incredible borough of Queens, our most diverse borough where over 200 languages are spoken. So I really wanted to be here today to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you're doing on the front lines. Thank you for standing up every single day for the Jewish community. We so appreciate the work that you're doing. We are a partner, and I can assure you that we are going to work, myself and my colleagues, every single day to protect the Jewish community and all communities here in the great borough of Queens and across our wonderful city. Thank you. Oh, and can I ask the council members to come up? I was asked to do this at this moment for a quick picture. So just indulge us for 1 minute while we do a quick council picture.
Excuse me. Just wanted to read something before. This is Rabbi Yossi.
Just remember, there's nothing quick in this building. Actually, there's nothing quick.
Okay, looking at me first, everyone, right here, please. Everyone looking here. Barry.
I'm sorry. I'm going to ask the rest of you. I'm going to be somewhere tomorrow. I'm in LA. It's the same time. Yeah.
If the rest of the elected officials in the room could join us, because let's not get crazy here, okay? If you're an elected somebody, come on David, let's go. Tom, Mark, everybody. Let's go. I'll sing. Come on, John. Stand well, we'll do the best we can. Let's go. Nice shot, Barry. Charlie. Oh, man. No pleasantries. Sit down. What? Mumble this, huh? I'm not. Senator. You got her glasses? Whose glasses? I think those are the speakers. They're the speakers? I think. Okay. I'm not sure. Take care of everything. All right.
I have everyone looking at me first.
Can only hold my stomach in so long. Send me one of those shots. You'll get in. All right. You know. Thank you all.
If anybody's face freezes, I'll help them.
Go sit down. All right, we're going to move the program along. Thank you, Speaker Menin. Please give it up for the Speaker again. Good. All right, we're going to continue with the program. We've been joined by our outstanding Attorney General, Letitia James. You're going to hear from her in a short while. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have two statewide elected officials with us today, and it's not like they're here all the time, and it's a cold morning, as we know. Rabbi Miller. We have been joined this morning. To some people, he is the most important person in the room. If you're a state pensioner, our Comptroller Tom DiNapoli is the sole trustee of hundreds of billions of dollars in the state pension system. But much more important than that, you can look from Montauk Point to Niagara Falls, and you will not find a nicer person, more decent person in public service in the state of New York than Tom DiNapoli. I've been happy to call him my dear friend for over 20 years. Please give it up for the Comptroller of the state of New York, Tom DiNapoli.
Thank you. Good morning, QJCC. Everybody's feeling good in spite of the challenges we're facing. It is great to see this kind of a turnout on a cold Super Bowl Sunday. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here to support this very important organization. I'm honored to be here. I know we've just been joined by our great Attorney General, my partner in state government, Tish James, who got 100% of the vote at our convention last week. Give it up for Tish James. I know Barry did the honors with the photos. I was hoping, Barry, we were going to do a controller photo. But you said that Mark Levine and I have too many pictures together. Give it up for our New York City Controller, my new partner in government, City Controller Mark Levine. I'll be brief if you'll be quiet. If you're not quiet, I'll speak for an hour. How's that? Let me just say, it's great to be with all of you, and certainly want to shout out the allied organizations who are here. Their wonderful leadership from JCRC and UJA and Met Council as well. This organization does such an important job in this wonderful borough. Just looking again at this banner, all of the different services that are provided not only for the Jewish community, but all the wonderful people of this wonderful borough. It really is so essential, the work that you do day in and day out. And because of the ways in which you open doors for all people in need, all families in need, this is part of what knits together the wonderful fabric of this very, very diverse borough. As our Speaker Julie Menin said, this is an incredible borough. And you really are the ones who set the standard of how communities can work together. And Julie Menin, she's off to a great start as Speaker, don't you think? Yeah, she deserves a round of applause again. You know, Barry, as we all know, is a person of great humor, but I appreciate the fact that given the times we're going through, you stuck to the serious side of you, because I think we all understand what the challenges are out there, some of them unique to the Jewish community, but challenges that all communities are facing. Certainly the issue of hate and anti-Semitism, as we're, I'm sure, all going to speak to, is a scourge that we all must fight against in every way and in every form. Not only with our words, but those of us in government by our actions. And great to see such a turnout of elected officials at all levels of government. I think, as you know, in our office, we have done audits of hate crime reporting. Certainly coming out of COVID, as others have said, we've seen this tremendous spike in the incidence of anti-Semitic attacks. And unlike some of the other groups that were targeted, particularly during COVID, the numbers have not gone down. In fact, as Barry mentioned, the numbers have gone up. So this is a real issue that we have to address. And some of our reports and audits have shown, looking at NYPD, reporting of hate crimes, New York State, DCJS, very often the crimes are actually underreported. So as challenging as those numbers are, perhaps it's even worse than we are reading and seeing. And that's why it's so important that our colleagues who we support in NYPD and in police departments all across our state make sure that their officers know how to appropriately report the numbers so that we can really analyze the trends and deal with that issue. As you know, Julie mentioned grants coming from the City Council. My colleagues in the state legislature also, in this year's budget, put aside about $35 million for religious institutions, synagogues and others, for security measures, including cameras. Now, we are the office that will process those grants. So certainly if you are part of a synagogue or religious community where you've had any issues in accessing that grant money, please be in touch with my office, with me. We will expedite that process to make sure that you get that money and you can better protect your congregants and your congregations. The challenge for our state legislators right now and the governors is that they have to deal with the state budget. And the context from a financial point of view is having to deal with the tremendous budget cuts that we're starting to feel from Washington, particularly targeted healthcare, nutrition programs. It was estimated at one point that about 1.5 million New Yorkers could lose health care coverage based on those cuts. The state's able to backstop some of those cuts, but still, it's estimated about 400,000 New Yorkers could lose their health insurance coverage. That's a real problem and a real issue. And our legislators are going to try to grapple to see how they can backstop those cuts. Same thing for the SNAP program, for the nutrition programs, the education programs, the energy programs. That's going to be the challenge, balancing the state budget, even though our revenues are very strong right now, and still providing for the needs for those who are being cut out and targeted by those federal cuts. Barry mentioned pension fund. It's one of my important responsibilities. We're about $300 billion. We're the largest public pension funds in the country. I'm very proud of our investment strategy. That's how we secure those retirements. But as many of you know, there are those, some in the city, some in other parts of the state, that periodically show up at my events and protest the fact that we invest in Israel bonds. That's not a new part of our investment portfolio. It goes back decades. But I'm very proud of the fact that New York State is the leading state in purchasing State of Israel bonds. And we do that for a very simple reason. It is a safe part of our fixed income portfolio. We get a good, reliable return. And we do those investments because it makes sense for us.
And soon again, the leading city.
I was going to mention that. And so when people come up to me and say, as they do, Israel bonds, they're junk bonds, you're losing money, why are you doing it? As a fiduciary, that's why we continue to invest in Israel bonds. And we also have a very clear policy in managing the pension fund, not just on the question of Israel bonds, but on any of our investments. We have very, very clear policy. We've had it for a number of years now, that we will not invest in companies that participate in boycott, divestment, and sanctions against Israel. We have a very clear anti-BDS policy. And if we get wind of a company that's engaging in that, we then press them, and either they change their direction or we will not invest in them. But Jeff mentioned, and I do want to say it really is a privilege just in the short time that he's been the city controller. Mark Levine also, like Julie Menin, is off to a great start. And he has certainly indicated that he understands as a fiduciary that investing in Israel bonds is a good move. It would be a good move for New York City as it has been for New York State. Give Mark Levine a round of applause as well for everything that he does. So I just want to assure you, despite the challenging times that we are going through, that I look forward to continuing to stay in partnership with the Queens Jewish Community Council. There are many ways in which our office can be of support and assistance. I stand ready as a partner. I'm a neighbor of yours in Nassau County. I can walk from my home into Queens in like 5 minutes. So you know, I'm very familiar with the work of this organization, with so many of you. So, you know, these are times to stay strong. These are times, despite all the challenges, to remain hopeful. These are times to, despite what we read every day in the assaults and the attacks and brutalization of our immigrant communities, know that a better day is around the corner if we all stick together and we work together and we model the kind of community connectedness that this organization and so many other of our wonderful nonprofits provide here in the great city of New York. Wonderful to be with all of you. Whoever you're rooting for today, I hope your team wins the Super Bowl. Thank you so much.
Please give it up again for our great Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli. Comptroller DiNapoli, you are not walking to Great Neck right now, trust me. I just want to do some introductions of the state officials and some other folks. We have Assembly members here this morning. Assemblyman Ed Braunstein, Assemblyman Alex Boris across the East River with us today from Manhattan. Assemblyman David Weprin, my assemblyman in the district we're in. Assemblyman Sam Berger and Assemblywoman Jennifer Raj Kumar. From the State Senate, Senator John Liu, Senator Joe Adabo, and the person I know in this room longer than anybody except for my sister, Senator Leroy Comrie, my dear friend. We also have representatives from our Governor, Kathy Hochul. Eve Weiner is here. Eve, where are you? Thank you. Representing Congressman Gregory Meeks, Nathaniel Hezekiah. The Assistant Commissioner for Community Affairs Bureau from the NYPD, Alden Foster, is here with us. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here today. We have two justices, at least, of the Supreme Court. One is from Kew Garden Hills, and I think most people in this room know him, the Honorable David Kirshner. Where are you, David? Thank you, Judge. And we also have been joined by the Honorable Gia Morris. Thank you, Judge. Thank you for being here with us today. And many years ago, at one of her state of boroughs, my hero and mentor and dear friend Claire Schulman was at the Colden Center, and there was a couple of thousand people there. And Claire said, she said, you know, if I start introducing people, I'm going to get into trouble. And she said, "Isn't that right, Rabbi Fabian Schoenfeld?" And Rabbi Fabian was the only person who got a shout out that morning, and he had the look of the cat that had eaten the canary on his face. So I'm not going to tell you that the former head of the JCRC, Michael Miller, is here, because I'm only going to get in trouble. So, Rabbi Miller, thank you for being with us today. It is a very cold morning in New York State. New York State stretches out over 50,000 square miles. I checked this morning, it was 35 degrees below zero in Watertown. And that is why, among other reasons, that our Attorney General is with us here this morning, because it's a lot warmer here today. But in truth, she has been here almost every year that I have been either as president or a member of this board. She is a frequent visitor. She immediately, as I mentioned before in my opening speech, denounced the maniacs who protested out of YCQ and the Young Israel of Kew Garden Hills. She is a fighter, and like my mother-in-law, I have to give my mother-in-law a shout-out, otherwise it didn't happen. She is a woman from Brooklyn, so please give it up for our standing Attorney General, Letitia James.
Thank you. I want to thank some of you in this room. A number of you sent me emails and texts this morning, as you know. Someone who was very close to me and who was like my second pastor died. His name was Reverend Clinton Miller of Brown Memorial. We funeralized him yesterday. Over 150 churches all throughout the state of New York came to the funeral. Over 100,000 individuals viewed it online. He died at 58. Yeah. My message to all of you today is to take care of yourself. And 2, we have to check in on others. And 3, men don't like to go to the doctor. Is it true? Men don't like to go to the doctor. So women, it's up to us. We've got to take men that we know and that we love. We've got to take them to we got to pull them, whatever. We've got to take them to the doctor. It's really critically important. And then lastly, depression is real. Depression is very real, and there's a stigma. And we need to make sure that individuals who are struggling with mental illness and suffer from depression, that we check on them. We're all part of one community, and it's really critically important that we check on one another. Politics aside, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we're all going to the same place. And so we all have to check on one another. So thank you, I appreciate you. I want to thank QJCC for bringing us together, and I want to thank you for your bagels and your coffee and your lox. I appreciate it. And if some of you have said, "Oh, Tish, you're getting a little big," it's because of the bagels and the lox. And so thank you. Barry Grodenchik is my very good friend, and he's been my friend over the years. We served in the city council together, and it's always an honor and a privilege to be here with him, and I thank him so much for his leadership. Of course, Rabbi Mayor Waxman and the whole QJCC team, I thank you for your leadership. And of course, to the new board members, Jeff Lebowitz and Ruben Davidoff, please give them a round of applause and give them their congratulations. I want to thank you all, obviously, for your service, and I want all of you to know that during these challenging times, it's really critically important that we support all of these services to residents, particularly those in need. And I want all of you to know that as the Attorney General of the state of New York, there have been efforts to stop a lot of these services. And as all of you know, when we received executive orders from Washington, D.C. to cut and to eliminate a lot of these services, it was my office that stepped up, filed an action, and we were successful in stopping any efforts to keep food away from those who are hungry. There was efforts to cut off SNAP, to cut off food assistance, to cut off Head Start, to cut off assistance to domestic violence survivors, to cut off grants to a lot of law enforcement grants. And each and every time we have filed lawsuits and we have won. And most recently, as all of you know, on the Hudson Tunnel project, the project between New York and New Jersey, where there are only 2 tunnels, where we spent billions of dollars, that it involved over 1,000 jobs of primarily New Yorkers and people from New Jersey. I want all of you to know that Friday night we were able to get a temporary restraining order to keep that money going. It affects our union jobs, but most importantly, it impacts our economy. And if one of those tunnels collapses because they're very old tunnels, it would have a major impact on the economy of New York and New Jersey and all across this nation. It is the largest public project in the country, the largest capital project in the entire country. And so we should not play politics with a project which is going to affect our local and our national economy. And that's why we immediately, along with New Jersey, ran to court and we were able to get a temporary restraining order. Now it's not over. We're going to court to get a preliminary injunction and hopefully we will win on the merits. And I'm confident that we will win on the merits, again, because of the impact that this project has had and the impact that it would have if, in fact, the project would end. This wonderful organization, Queens JCC, has spent decades making sure that neighbors are fed regardless of your political affiliation, regardless of your race, your ethnicity. You feed everybody. The only question that you ask is, are you hungry? And I thank you for that. Seniors receive support and vulnerable New Yorkers are not left behind, and serving as the voice of the Jewish community of this great borough. And these policies mirror the mission of my office, and that is protecting the well-being and dignity of all New York. As you all know, in my beloved borough, and I hope you don't mind me saying Brooklyn. Okay, that was Senator Leroy Comrie. That was Mark Treyger. Okay, we love Mark. Okay. There was a horrible incident recently at the Lubavitch community during a holiday. And as all of you know, I'm very close to the Lubavitch community in Crown Heights. And so when I heard about the attack on the Lubavitch community, I immediately ran to 770 Eastern Parkway. And this lunatic, someone who unfortunately was struggling with mental illness, rammed into the synagogue 3 and 4 times, and it was caught on video. The point is that we all know that anti-Semitism is on the rise, and all of us must stay together. All of us must stand together, arm in arm, shoulder to shoulder, regardless of where you stand. And it's important, and this is really critically important, and Leroy Comrie and I and others know, as well as the borough president of this great borough know, that it's not just up to the Jewish community to speak out against hate and anti-Semitism. You need allies. And as an African-American woman who recognizes that and will not tolerate hate of any kind, I stand with the Jewish community each and every time that there is an act of anti-Semitism. And I will use the powers of my office to investigate acts of anti-Semitism, just as we immediately responded to the incident in Crown Heights. As all of you know, my office has protected homeowners against deed theft, where they are targeting seniors who are poverty-stricken, but they are living in homes that are worth a lot of money. They are cash poor, but equity rich. And so we are focusing on deed theft, and we have prosecuted individuals under this new law that was passed by the legislature, and I thank them. We are focusing on health care, mental illness, and focusing on consumer fraud. As all of you know, that there are scams going on, individuals who are members of gyms and they can't cancel it because they tend to hide cancellation policies with respect to funding, policies online, scams against seniors online, dating scams online. My seniors still date, yes they do, all of them. But there are a lot of individuals online who want to scam seniors, and so it's really critically important. And there's a lot of affinity groups where individuals who are selling, let's say, cryptocurrency and other types of product are selling it to specific communities. And in fact, on Long Island, not too far from where the Comptroller lives, there was an affinity group involving the Jewish community. And there were some bad actors who sold them a number of products because they were members of that community. And at the end of the day, when individuals wanted to cash out, there was nothing there. We were able to sue that individual, reclaim all of that money, and deliver again and provide compensation to all of the individuals who were victims of this fraud. This is what the Office of the Attorney General does. We will work with each and every one of you. We will make sure that people are fed. We will protect homes, protect the Jewish community, and stand with the Jewish community now and forever. God bless you and thank you.
Thank you. Please give it up again for our great Attorney General Letitia James from Brooklyn. We have been joined by Assemblymember Nili Razik. Say hello. We are sitting in Community Board 8, the community board I grew up in, and our chair, Martha Taylor, is here. And we've also been joined by a very, very good friend of the Queens Jewish Community Council, our former Speaker of the New York City Council, Speaker Adrian Adams. So good to see you this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break from the politicians, and I'm going to give you a former politician. The UJA, I don't have to tell you what the UJA does, because they have been a part of every Jew's life in the city of New York since they were founded a very, very long time ago. Representing, and they're a big sponsor of this breakfast, so if you enjoyed your bagel, please clap extra loud, for our dear friend, my dear friend as well, former Assemblyman and a heck of a guy, Dan Rosenthal.
Take a second. Good morning, everyone. Barry called me a few times this week. Do you want to speak? I said, I'm okay not speaking. He said, you should speak. He said, okay, 30 seconds. I said, Barry, I don't need to speak. He said, 30 seconds. Right now, it's at 18 seconds, so we'll see. But in all seriousness, give a round of applause for Barry and Mayor Waxman for all the amazing work they do for the Queens Jewish Community Council. As Barry referred to, we are in a difficult time for our community. Well, you could talk over my speech and I won't be offended, so don't worry about it. I have 3 young kids at home. It totally makes me feel more comfortable. But we are in troubling times, difficult times, and I never thought in my life that we would see pro-Hamas protesters outside the Young Israel QR in Hills and YCQ. But that's the world that we live in right now. But what gives me hope, what makes me feel that we have a bright future here is that in a freezing cold morning, which is proof that we do not control the weather, that this room is packed. And people are more motivated than ever to show up, that we are proud Jewish New Yorkers, and we are not going anywhere. And also, it's really also more important than ever to acknowledge our elected officials that are here. We have so many longtime friends of the Jewish community. We are not in an environment where it's just free to show up to Jewish communal pro-Israel events anymore. And the fact that they are here on a cold Sunday morning means more than it ever has before. And realize a lot of them are up for re-election. I can't talk politics, so I won't name anyone, but their opponents are not here. So we should all make sure who our friends are. And if I get in trouble for that one, oops. But anyway, thank you again, and for Barry and Mayor Waxman for all the amazing work you do.
I like a man who can stick to the schedule. Our next speaker has been a friend of mine also for a very long time. If we didn't have her, we'd probably have to invent her. She is the daughter of Taiwanese immigrants. That should tip it a little. She's my congresswoman, and the Jewish community does not have a better friend in the United States Congress than Grace Meng. I was going to say, please give it up for my dear friend Grace Meng, but you did already, so let's do it again. Please welcome United States Congressmember Grace Meng.
Thank you, Comptroller Mark Levine, for letting me skip the line. Good morning, everyone. It's such an honor to be here with all of you, and it's cold outside, but in here it is cozy and warm, and it's so great to be with all of you. And this is, I feel like, one of the largest turnouts, Barry, that I've seen in a long time.
Imagine if it was 10 degrees, how many people would be
I'm Congresswoman Grace Meng, and it's so great to be back here at our QJCC breakfast. Thank you so much to the leadership team, to Barry, and I always have to get a shout out to Barry Grodenchik, who shares Barry with all of us, to Rabbi Waxman and our dear friend Karen Koslowitz, and the whole board and all the volunteers who put this together every single year for making this possible, for ensuring that so many communities beyond the Jewish community are fed. If you take a look at the lines that go to the QJCC food pantries, they're taking care of so many people across Queens and across the city. And that is one of the best ways to build bridges in this diverse community. I also want to give a shout out to UJA and Met Council. Because of our work together, we were able to start one of the largest diaper bank operations in Queens. As chair of the Congressional Asian Caucus in Washington, caucuses are like clubs in high school. You know, you join different clubs in Congress and political legislative bodies, we call them caucuses. Last year I was elected to be chair of the Asian Caucus, and just want to say what an honor it has been to partner with organizations like the QJCC and national Jewish organizations to strengthen our communities and combat hate. In the aftermath of the 2021 Atlanta spa shootings, which targeted Asian Americans, it was organizations like QJCC that stood with us to help pass legislation on hate crimes. And I will never forget that partnership. It was the same spirit that inspired us to stand together to counter hate and to drive us to pray, march, and advocate together to bring the hostages home. Finally, after 843 long days, they are all home. We can finally say that it's October 8th. As the peace deal enters phase 2, I'm proud to share that Congress provided full funding for life-saving missile defense programs and the U.S.-Israel relationship in the 2026 national security budget. And this could not have happened without our House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries, who many of you know well, to our former and soon-to-be Foreign Affairs Chairman, Gregory Meeks, and he is very capably represented by Nathaniel here today. And of course, to someone who everyone knows and is in our neighboring district, our friend Congressman Tom Suozzi. Peace also depends on Hamas disarming. So the horrors of October 7th, 23 can never again be repeated. Hamas disarming is also critical for the future of the Palestinian people. The humanitarian crisis they continue to experience remains real and urgent. Aid must continue to increase to the millions who are displaced. But only with Hamas disarmed can we hope to realize a shared future of security and dignity that both Israelis and Palestinians deserve. Around the world and here in America, I know the issue of security continues to be top of mind for our Jewish brothers and sisters. The Bondi Beach attack late last year was a painful reminder that anti-Semitism is not just rhetoric. It literally threatens lives. It is a national security risk, and it tears at the foundation of our shared society. I was proud to work together with all 10 co-chairs of our House Bipartisan Task Force to combat anti-Semitism to call on the Australian government to protect its Jewish community. We just received a response to our letter last week, which includes that they've now adopted new measures to protect Australia's Jewish community that were developed by their special envoy to combat anti-Semitism. This is a positive step spurred forward by bipartisan advocacy from Congress. We will keep the pressure on to continue sending the message that anti-Semitism has no place in any civil society, here or around the world. As we know, this hate has reared its ugly head right here in New York and in Queens specifically too. In my district recently, a rabbi was assaulted on the street. Synagogues and centers for Jewish life have been targeted with vandalism and hate. Dan and Barry both mentioned the synagogue in my district. And let me be clear and let me say what I said publicly immediately after, that here in Queens and here in New York City, we do not support Hamas. We want our Jewish community and every faith community to celebrate their faith proudly and openly. In America, no one should live in fear of practicing their religion. That's why public safety is a top priority of mine in Congress. As the top Democrat on my subcommittee, which funds everything under the Departments of Commerce, Justice, and Science, I'm taking action to strengthen our federal responsiveness and resources to support public safety. That means continuing to support our nonprofit security grant program and pushing for increased funding. Many schools in our district have been able to secure money from this national program. Currently, the administration has put up some barriers to this program, and we are working on fixing those. Feel free to call them. Give us a number. It also means looking at the issue of security personnel. Cameras, locks, window upgrades are vital, but right now it's too difficult for organizations to hire guards and other security staff. I'm proud to have worked with colleagues across the aisle, including Congressman Suozzi and Meeks, to have secured $5 million for a brand new grant, specifically designed to help houses of worship hire more security staff. It's brand new and it started here in Queens. For many houses of worship and nonprofits, it's too hard to navigate the complex web of life-saving security programs, trainings, and evidence-based best practices that are spread across our federal and state government websites. That's why I introduced, last part, don't worry. I get excited because I don't get to see everyone in one room often. I introduced new legislation recently called the Pray Safe Act. This bipartisan bill will centralize all of these existing resources into one place that's easily accessible. It will also designate someone in our federal government to be a point of contact for these groups that are seeking help. I'm fighting to bring costs down by eliminating the tariff tax, defending Medicaid and SNAP, and investing in working and middle-class families. To the estimated 20% of Jewish New York families who struggle to make ends meet, this is essential to make sure that our city remains a welcoming place. So thank you so much for all that you do. So great to see everyone. We have a lot of work ahead of us. These are very challenging times, but we need to stick together. You have so many elected officials and community leaders here in the room, and I'm confident that we will work together to make our next 50 years stronger. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please give it up again for my Congressmember, Grace Meng. I don't know how I missed this name because he's very close to my father's name. Nathaniel Hezekiah, where are you? Where is he? He had it, okay. He's representing Congressman Meeks, as Congresswoman Meng said this just now. Okay. Now is the guy who is the most important person in the room because he signs my pension check every month. My family started, the Grodenchiks started in 1907 on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. And so I felt we have to have at least one Manhattan-based elected official speak today. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have not met Mark Levine, he has the Tom DiNapoli-esque quality of being one of the nicest people you're ever going to meet. I served with him, and he was a strong proponent of with me in increasing funding for what we call emergency food, food pantry food, because nobody should go hungry in the city of New York. and he served as Manhattan Borough President. But now, he is the guardian of what will be a $120 billion New York City budget. Way more than that. Please give it up for my friend Mark Levine.
Thank you to my buddy, my brother, Barry Grodenchik. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the Queens JCC. Shalom Lechem. Boker Tov, Sorala. Eze Kef. Oh, got in the back. Sheket, bavakasha. קור בחוץ, אבל וואו, כמה נשים פה. כמה נשים. אתם מבין אותי? מה קורה פה? מי מבין אותי? נילי? Guys, we got to work on Hebrew education in the New York Jewish community. What's up here? Danny, can you get some UJA money in this? Come on. Folks, if you can just give me one moment. In my new role as your city comptroller, I have a number of very, very important duties. None is more important than protecting the retirements of those who have given their careers to working for the city. If that is you, raise your hand. If you work or have worked for the city. Jeff, you work for the city too? So you got skin in the game. My solemn obligation is as the fiduciary of those investments to ensure that your retirement is secure. And that means deploying our investment portfolio globally, to have global diversity. We have investments in every major economy on earth, including Israel. For most of the last half century. Folks, please. Sorla, can you quiet them down, please? Thank you. For most of the past half century, we have also had investments in Israel bonds, as we do in many other countries' sovereign debt. And we are not going to let toxic politics deter us from seeing the facts. Israel bonds have never missed a payment in 70 years. They have been a rock-solid investment for us, for pension funds around America, and that's why they should be a part of our pension fund today. And I want to shout out somebody who has seen that and never wavered, in my friend, my big brother in this business, your state comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, who has never once let politics cloud his vision for exercising his fiduciary responsibility on Israel or any other issue. And we support you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. The Queens Jewish community, you guys are like a microcosm of this Jewish community in America. We got hipsters in Long Island City. We got the Ohel out in Cambria Heights. We got the biggest yeshiva in America in the Rockaways. We got the Bukharian community in Forest Hills. We've got young Israeli families moving to Queens in droves. One is applauding here on the side, clearly. We also have one of the best social service nonprofits in New York City, in the Queens JCC. And we have some amazing political organizing, thanks to people like Sorla Idels and Jimmy Pellman and so many others. I'm sorry to say that Queens is also the scene of some of the ugliest attacks on our community that we've seen in recent days, including an attack on a rabbi walking in broad daylight, Rabbi Shushan, in Forest Hills, who was called a dirty Jew and punched. A rabbi who recently immigrated to America to avoid anti-Semitism in France. The irony, being attacked and assaulted here for who he is. This is the community where a demonstration in Kew Garden Hills outside of a synagogue broke out in cheers in favor of a terrorist organization. This happened in Queens. This is also the community where last week, in a government building, on government time, employees of the health department held a meeting, a political organizing meeting, demonizing Israel. That's not okay. This has all happened in Queens. Now, it would be easy in the face of those acts of hatred for us to retreat. Perhaps out of concern of safety or fear of some sort. It'd be easy for us to stop going to public events that are identified with the Jewish community. It'd be easy for us to stop wearing Jewish symbols visibly on the subway. It'd be easy for us to stop sending our kids to Jewish programs. That ain't happening. That is not who we are. That is not who you are in Queens. We are doing the opposite. We are doing the opposite. We are showing up louder and prouder more than ever. More than 2.5 years ago. Jewish camps oversubscribed. Every JCC program in New York City oversubscribed. More people coming out to synagogues and Jewish programs than ever. We are not backing down. We are not going to hide. Tell me, I need to know. Will you continue to be out there as proud Jewish New Yorkers? Will you continue to show up for this community? Will you continue to express your deep connection and love for the only Jewish state in the world? בעברית, גם באנגלית, בספרדית, ביוונית. Yeah? All of it? That's what I love about the Queens Jewish community. אני מת עליכם. עם ישראל חי. תודה. Thank you.
Please give it up for my dear friend and the guy who signs my pension check, Mark Levine. All right. It comes at this point in the program. We are very, very happy to welcome a man who straddles the borough of Queens and the county of Nassau. And he does it so well. He's been my friend for a very long time. And I want you to give it up for our dear friend and a great supporter of the Jewish community, Congressman Tom Suozzi.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Blessings to everyone and welcome. Bruchim habayim. I want to welcome everybody here this morning. I'll be very quick. I just want to say that you already know I'm 100% unequivocal supporter of Israel through thick and thin, no matter what. Number two, I support the organizations represented here today. It's hard to imagine that there are people talking about cutting programs for low-income people these days. It's hard to imagine. You have a big job ahead of you, and I'll support you in your fights, especially in Washington, D.C., to make sure that your programs are supported. But I want to talk about something generally. What is going on with all this hate? Where is this coming from? Is everybody so much more evil now than they've ever been? Is everybody so much more destructive? So much more anti-Semitic? So much more hateful? Why is this happening? I just want to be conscious of 4 different factors that we should have to be conscious of. Number one, safe seats. In Congress, of the 435 seats, 400 seats are safe seats you can't lose. You hear about the redistricting they're doing all over the country, the redistricting that takes place. You pack all the Republicans over here, you pack all the Democrats over there, and you can't lose. 200 Republican, 200 Democratic, you can't lose. And the president has really taken this to an awful level. They started in Texas recently. And what happens if you can't lose? If you can't lose, you don't listen to the people, because you're not going to lose anyway. The only way you could lose is by losing a primary. And very few people vote in the primaries. And the people that often vote in the primaries for the Republicans on the far right, for the Democrats on the far left, so the politicians pander to their base. That's factor number one, pandering to the base instead of listening to the people. Number two, social media. Social media rewards extremism. The crazier stuff you say, the meanier stuff you say, the more likes, the more follows, the more small dollar donations, it's pulling us apart. We need to be conscious of that. Number three, cable news. How many people live in America? 350 million people. The highest rated show on Fox News has 4 million viewers. The highest rated show on MS has 2 million viewers. CNN, 1.5, 1.8 million viewers. But they're giving messages that are echo chambers that they're completely different world. When I was growing up, you watch CBS, you watch NBC, you watch, what do they got? ABC. They're all the same news. But these programs have completely different messages, and they're just trying to sell advertising, and they're trying to get us excited. You get your endorphin push, and you say, yeah, that's right, I agree with that. Yeah. And you watch the show so they can sell advertising. 75% of the advertising on cable news is prescription drugs. Can you believe that? Yes. And then, you got MyPillow and, adult diapers and stuff like that. So one, pandering to the base, 2, social media, 3, cable news, and 4, the most important one. Shh, this is really important. Our foreign adversaries, the Chinese Communist Party, the Russians, the Iranians, North Korea, use our freedom of speech here. They think our biggest weakness is our diversity. If you're a diverse person in any of those other countries, you're going to jail, you may get killed, you're going to get arrested. They think our biggest weakness is our diversity. They can't beat us economically. They can't beat us militarily. They want to divide us from within. So they use our social media, and they put messages on the social media, and they send one message to this group and one message to that group. So you look at that and you say, what the hell is wrong with them? Something's wrong with them. But it's messages coming from their bots, coming from their special agents, coming from their moneyed interests to try and get us to hate each other. They take an issue where there's a truth to the issue, but they blow up both sides and give a different message to each group, trying to get us to hate each other more. They take Black Lives Matter versus Blue Lives Matter. They send one message here and a different message there. They send both messages. They don't care what. They just want us fighting with each other. They take evangelicals and transgender. They send one message here. They send one message there, and they get everybody all pissed off to hate each other. They take Israel, Hamas. They'll send one message to the Jews, a different message to the Muslims and the young people, and they'll get everybody pissed off at each other. We are being invaded through our social media by moneyed interests from our foreign adversaries who are trying to get us to hate each other and take us down. We cannot fall for it. We have to stand up to it. We have to recognize that it's happening, and we have to continue to promote this idea that we have to love each other. Because we share so much more in common than what divides us. There is so little difference. There is so little difference between so many people that we see from these diverse groups that we celebrate here in New York, that we celebrate here in Queens. But we have a battle ahead of us. There was a famous congressman, he was a Holocaust survivor, and I'll close with this. His name was Tom Lantos. And Tom Lantos had a famous quote. He said, the veneer of civilization is paper thin. We are its guardians, and we cannot rest. We have a battle that a battle that we thought was 10 years ago. Who would have thought that we'd be in these type of fights that we see today? Who would have thought? We thought we had come so far. We've done so much to move forward as a people. How is it possible there's so much hate and so much destruction that we see in our relationships in our community? It's hard to fathom. But we have work to do with each other. I want to just say, in closing, I'm so impressed by so many people here this morning. I'm especially impressed by so many elected officials here. I see my colleagues here. These are such wonderful people. They work so hard. They go to so many events. They try so hard to try and make people's lives better. And being in politics these days is not easy. You know, everybody's got a very negative image of politics these days, right? You look at the word politics, poly is a Greek word which means of the many. Ticks are blood-sucking insects. But they're such good people. They're such wonderful people doing so much to try and serve the community. I want to thank you for inviting me this morning. God bless all of you, and thank you so much.
Please give it up for Congressman Tom Suozzi. We're getting close. You want to have another bagel, have another bagel. At a recent board meeting, people asked, we talked about some issues that were, intractable or whatever, and I said the psalmist tells us, if I can speak like a rabbi for a moment, the psalmist tells us to look to the hills from whence comes our help. And we look to the hills, we look to Forest Hills, we look to Jamaica Hills, we look to Bayside Hills and Hollis Hills. And if that doesn't work, we have a very, very tough but fair District Attorney of Queens County, and her name is Melinda Katz. She is a longtime friend of this council, a great supporter of it, and I'm happy to call her a dear friend. Please give it up for our great District Attorney and our swearing-in officer today, District Attorney Melinda Katz.
I'm going to, since I'm District Attorney, I'm going to take some privilege. And I'm going to ask if those individuals that would like to have conversations, because I know there's a few more elected officials that are going to speak, but if you want to talk and have conversation, we love it, share ideas, talk to each other, but do it out there. I appreciate it. I love this event. As so many people have said before me, it's amazing at how many elected officials, community leaders, Rabbanim, people come here in order to celebrate the Queens Jewish Community Council, but also to stand in support of us. As the only Jewish district attorney in the state of New York, might I tell you, 62, I'm it. I appreciate so much when I go to JCRC, which I did last week. Mark Treyger, thank you very much for all of your work. David Greenfield's here from UJA. We got a whole bunch of folks that are here from outside. But when I go there and see so many non-Jewish people, people from districts who they don't have any community or some community, but they're there to support us, I found myself turning around at my table and saying, thank you for being here. And one of the responses that one of the elected officials said to me was, we've always been here. And I said, yeah, but you still are. In this world today, you're still sitting with us at JCRC, at QJCC, at UJA. We have our Attorney General who's been sitting there for over an hour. She has a whole state. But she joins us every single year. And so let me just give you a little bit of an update because it's been mentioned so often. So there's been 2 big cases of anti-Semitism over the last month. First of all, you should know that out of all the hate crimes in the city of New York, all the hate crimes that happen against every ethnicity, every religion, LGBTQ, all of them, 55% of those hate crimes are anti-Semitic. Out of the whole city of New York, which is remarkable numbers to me. But I will tell you that we hold people accountable. Just on January 6th, we announced an indictment of a guy who went on the internet and threatened Jews, Israel, threatened to beat the SH out of them. Israel, the Zionist, the Jew must pay with their lives for their barbarism on people. He was charged with a terroristic threat. He faces 15 years in jail for those threats because threats turn into actions, and we can't wait for that to happen. We also have the rabbi that many people mentioned. He was assaulted. We have the defendant in custody. He has been arrested. He has been charged with assault as a hate crime and faces 1 1/3 to 4 years for that crime, for yelling "you effing Jew" and then punching a rabbi in the face. So there is anti-Semitism, and we should protect ourselves. Again, share ideas, talk a lot. We love it out there. So, because elected officials are going to be coming up also speaking after me. What, Barry, is that not good? Should I not be saying? You might not be able to say that, I can say that. So I wanted to just make sure that I mentioned that there is accountability in this state. Last but not least, I see there are representatives from ADL here. We just held a statewide education for lawyers across the state on how to prosecute anti-Semitic crimes. We did that, we hosted it at Borough Hall, and I want to thank ADL for that partnership, but also for all of the lawyers who joined us in that teaching. So here we are once again. All the hostages are home. We're happy about that. Not happy at how they came home, some of them. But at the end of the day, New Yorkers, I believe, especially our elected officials, are standing with us. And how important is that? Out of all the religiously based countries in the world, Israel's the only one you ever hear about. And Israel's the only one that gains such hate from people, and they don't even know why. And so, be careful, be safe, keep your kids safe, keep your families safe, but when you don't and can't, we'll be there for accountability. Congratulations on today. I want to thank the Queens Jewish Community Council for all the work it does borough-wide, all the families that it feeds, all of the homes that it touches. I also want to give a special shout out to Grace Meng, who gives the office money for cold cases and for other things we need, a lot in cooperation. Now, may I have all the board of directors and officers of the Queens Jewish Community Council stand.
Stand up.
Barry, this is the one and only time I'll follow orders. What do you want?
You know what to do. I'm not.
Okay, I know what to do. Stand up if you are a board of director or a officer of the Queens Jewish Community Council. And I'm going to do the quick swearing in version. First of all, thank you for spending your time and effort. It's not for the money that you are making. We know that. It's for the beliefs that you have. So, you want to stand next to me? You're welcome to stand. Barry, help me.
Stand where you are.
Stand, I don't know. Stand,
I'm with you. And raise your right hand.
How about you stand where you are, and then I will come and take a photo. Okay, there you go. I know how to make a good deal. So
I'll stand with you.
You stand with me, Barry. I'm going to do the quicker version because I know everybody wants to eat and socialize. So, raise your right hand, repeat after me. Do you solemnly swear? Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Thank you. It's been a long morning. I came down from Connecticut this morning just to come here, so it's been a long morning. I, state your name. Do solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and the bylaws of the Queens Jewish Community Council, and fulfill my duty as to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you for your service. Yes.
Now we can take a picture. Wait,
now we can take a picture, but please give it up for our great district attorney, Melinda Katz. We are so lucky to have so many outstanding elected officials.
Tish spoke right?
All right, we're getting down to the home stretch here. If you need another bagel, please fortify yourself. But we've got two more speakers, and they are both former colleagues of mine in the City Council. One of them they both have great jobs. And they both serve not just the Jewish community, but the city at large. And it's my pleasure. Last Sunday was his Sunday, but this Sunday in the freezing cold is our Sunday. It's my great pleasure to introduce the CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York, former councilman, former chair of the Education Committee, my dear friend Mark Treyger.
Let's give it up for Barry Grodenchik and the QJCC. Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Barry's main concern this morning was not that it was 7 degrees, but he said, Mark, how are the bagels? So I ask you, how are the bagels? Good job, Barry. Also have been joined by dynamic Jewish leaders my brother David Greenfield, CEO of Met Council. Let's get up for David. And the JCRC team, where's Howard Pollack? And Matt Abrams-Gerber. Matt, thank you so much for being out here today. You know, folks, as the dynamic AG shared that she's a Brooklynite, so am I. And that's right. And this morning, it might have been 7 degrees when I got up, but there was no traffic on the Belt Parkway and the Van Wyck. We hear a lot today about very sobering data, sobering statistics. And it's real. I was at an education meeting this past week where a mother asked me, Mark, is it safe to send my son on the train wearing his yarmulke? Or should I tell him to put a baseball hat on? How many of you have heard that question before? Raise your hand. I also heard a student, an immigrant student, share that sometimes he's afraid to go to school because he's not sure if mom or dad will be home by the time he gets home from school. And that also impacts all of us. That's real. You see, this anti-Semitism and this type of hatred, xenophobia, you name it, folks, it is real. In my home borough, just the other week, a playground in Borough Park was scrolled with over 73 swastikas. And that's why it is important that we have Holocaust survivors like Sammy, who was here earlier today, visit our public schools. Am I right about that? Where we teach about where we turn our pain into purpose. But I want to just say this. Folks ask me, Mark, where do we go from here? What do we do? And there's a lot to do. And the JCRC has great programs as well. Fellowships Against Hate, which we're doing in Queens as well, with Common Point. But I also want to say to our elected officials, we thank you. We thank them. Because folks, I know I'm not a councilman now. I'm a CEO of a 501c3. But I'm going to share this. A number of them are now facing challenges, not because they're doing a bad job in the neighborhood, not because they're showing up time and time again to help others, but because they had the courage and the moral clarity to stand with the Jewish community in the aftermath of October 7th, the worst attack on the Jews since the Holocaust. Let me repeat that. A number of them are being criticized and challenged and threatened because they had the audacity to stand with us and their neighbors during our moment of need. And so my challenge to the community, and I love all of you, but my challenge to the community is, how will we show up for them? By a show of hands, how many of you vote in November? Now, keep it real in the next question as well. How many of you vote in June? I want to see every hand up, because that is the most consequential election for New York elected officials. And by the way, we're entering a deadline very soon. If you're not enrolled in a major party, that it enables you to participate in the June primary, the deadline to change is February 14th, Valentine's Day. Let's show some love to our elected officials who stand with us time and time again. In June and in November, they are our allies. We thank them. I thank you. We will continue to show up. The Jewish community does not cower. We don't waver. We move forward. Am I right about that? God bless you all. Let's remain fired up.
Boy, that's a tough act to follow, huh? Whoa. Whoa. All right, I think the good news is it's up to 7 degrees outside. This is going to be the last worst day of winter, and we hope. Just remember, it was 35 below zero in Watertown. We have one more speaker, and he has one of the most important and I guess the most satisfying jobs. Yes, Sarola? Uh-oh.
Most of you are probably Democrats, whether you like it or not. That's where we live. We live here in New York, and this is a Democratic city and state. But your friends might not be. It is your job to leave here and call 5 of your friends and make sure that they are Democrats. Because it's not enough if just you are. You have to get everyone around you to be a registered Democrat so that we can have our friends who came here today, who come here all the time, who are there for us to win their elections. Not just you. Get your friends to do it too. They must be registered Democrats. I can say it because I'm not a 501c3. Get your friends to be registered Democrats so that we have more people who are part of the voting system. Thank you.
That was a non-political message. I got to take a deep breath after that one. Thank you, Sarola. The next speaker is also our ultimate speaker. Penultimate? Ultimate. I guess I'll speak again. If we didn't have a David Greenfield, we'd probably have to invent one. And not only do they feed a lot of Jews, not only is Met Council, and he'll talk a little bit about, I think we all know what they do, but he'll tell you that not only are they the largest provider of kosher food, but they're also the largest provider of halal food to our Muslim brothers and sisters. Without any further acclaim, the former chairman of the Land Use Committee, also from Brooklyn, but we'll forgive him for this morning, my dear friend, David Greenfield. And I want to thank him publicly for the great partnership that Met Council shows. The work that we do at Queens Jewish Community Council, feeding people each and every day, would not be possible without the work of Met Council on Jewish Poverty. Please give it up for David Greenfield.
Thank you. You know, when you think about Barry, the word that comes to mind is mensch. Barry's really the ultimate mensch. Let's give it up for Barry, who in retirement is helping the community. I want to give a shout out to Rabbi Waxman for the amazing work that he does here as well. I want to recognize, I'm almost done. I just started and I'm almost done, I promise you. I want to recognize the elected officials who have toughed it out till the end. These are your true friends who are here. Hiding in the back is Jim Gennaro. Jim, we're giving you a shout out. We love you. Thank you very much. Absolutely, you're amazing. America's favorite Congressmember Grace Meng. I'm only grateful that I don't live in Queens, because in case I speed a little bit too quickly, I would face the wrath of your DA, Melinda Katz, and she's the toughest DA in America. God bless her. Thank you so much, DA Katz. Literally the most popular Democratic official in the world today, Attorney General Letitia James. Our great chairman, Mr. Queens, David Weprin. Who else am I not seeing? And our future assembly member, Pesach Osina, who has done more for this community than anybody else. Lynn Schulman's staff, why not? Let's give a shout out to Lynn Schulman's staff. We love Lynn. Allison Spindell, the greatest Jewish advisor in the history of Jewish advisors. And of course, a shout out to our tremendous friends at JCRC, led by Mark, for the work that they're doing. We're so grateful for your leadership. I want to just say, and of course, our favorite rabbi wearing his shtreimel. Rabbi, thank you so much for your great work as well. I want to just say 3 quick things. First is thank you. Because the truth is, if there was no Queens Jewish Community Council, Barry, we would desperately need a Queens Jewish Community Council. We at Met Council are privileged to partner with all the JCCs, but I will tell you that ever since Rabbi Waxman came in and Barry became the chair, they really have doubled down on the resources of the community, and they're making a tremendous impact. So thank you so much for the work that both of you are doing, and to the entire board, we're really so grateful. The second thing I want to say is, and you know, Mark spoke about this. Did Mark sneak out, or is he still here? Mark? Mark is still here. I see him in the back. And I think Mark's point is a really important point. We really are proud. I always tell people, we're really proud to be the largest Jewish charity in Met Council fighting poverty in America. But we're also really proud that we help everyone from every single community. This week, we're launching our Ramadan distributions, and you do have to look out for each other. It's the largest halal food distribution by a kosher organization in the world. And we're doing it in Queens, in Brooklyn, in Staten Island, in Manhattan. I think it's really meaningful that we can work together and look out for each other. But the third and final thing I will say is, Mark, I hate to say this, I'm just being honest. My advice to that parent, to their kid is, don't wear a yarmulke. And it pains me to say this, and I know it's going to sound crazy. People will be like, wow, David, how can you say that? There's two categories of people in this town. There are David Greenfields and Mark Treygers who can be proud of their Judaism, and we have the protection, and we have the resources, and we have the ability to walk proudly, and no one's going to touch us. And the truth is, if you've noticed over the years, my yarmulke has gotten bigger. It's not because I'm more religious, I'm not. It's not because my hair is thinning, it is, maybe partially, so it kind of is that. But it really is because I really believe that those of us who have the ability to stand up and to be proud, we should be prouder Jews than ever before. But we also should not be naive that if you look at the numbers, and you look at the NYPD numbers from literally last month, anti-Semitic hate crimes are at the highest it's ever been in New York. And that is a challenge. It's a challenge for all of us, but it also is a challenge for those of us who are privileged. Everybody in this room, I don't have to give you a shout out, but everybody in this room is a machra. If you're in this room, you're important. And if you're in this room, you have an obligation. We're not heroes to ask a 10-year-old to wear a yarmulke so he gets smacked in the face on the train. If you want to be a hero, start in this room. Wear a bigger yarmulke. Wear your black hat in public. Wear your, I don't even know what they call that hat, Rabbi. What is that? Shtreimel. Wear your Bukharian shtreimel in public. Wear your Hasidic shtreimel in public. Wear your Magen David. Don't be afraid to be part of a community that has done more, has given back, has stood by people on civil rights, has stood by people on immigration, has stood by people no matter what community they're from. Every hospital, every social services, every university, every single charity in New York has Jewish-backed sponsors. Do not be embarrassed, and be proud of who you are, and be prouder still of all the friends that you have here today, but especially those who stuck it through lunchtime when they could be pre-gaming for today's Super Bowl. I love you all. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, David, and thank you again for everything you do. We have come just about, anybody want another speech? We have come just about to the end. I have a few more thank yous. I want to remind you to thank on your way out the officers, the men and women of the New York City Police Department who do such a wonderful job protecting us. I want to thank again Mayor Waxman and our staff who is here. I see Carolyn, and I don't know if I see her, and my great board of directors who do such a wonderful job helping to move this organization forward. Avi Weinberg, who's here today representing my dear friend Donovan Richards, who's preparing for his own swearing in today, and that's why he couldn't be with us. We have to say thank you again to Pesach Osina. I'm not going to get political and tell you he's running for the assembly. If I was going to get political, that's what I would tell you, but I'm not going to do that. And my last thanks today is to my dear family, especially my dear wife, Deborah, who has put up with this for 34 years. Dr. Grodenchik, I love you, and thank you very, very much. And to my mother-in-law, who I fell in love with from the first time I met her. Thank you all for being here today. If the mood strikes you, Mayor Waxman will take the check. If the mood strikes you. God bless you all. It's up to 10 degrees, and I'm not going to tell you who's going to win the Super Bowl, but I do know. God bless you all.